All right, Coach, let's start with your 1-1 draw against UCLA on Friday. You fell behind early, but you guys were able to battle back to get a point out of that game. Can you just talk a little about that?
Yeah, it's always a tough task for any team in the country to go to Westwood and try to get something out of that. And the Friday night was going to be no different. It does make it more difficult when you dig yourself a hole early on to concede a goal like we did. But in true fashion of kind of the positives that the guys have displayed all year, they really kept level with the game plan, and they didn't rattle. And as the half and the game went on, they grew in confidence. And I think that you saw that shift in confidence from both sides. And as we got into the second half, we were able to really be on the front foot as far as attacking, and did ever so well to exploit them, and earned a penalty kick, and then unfortunately we missed the penalty kick. But even after that miss, the disappointment was very short-lived, and the guys kept going. They got after it, and that was evident when we were able to score late in the game to tie it up. And I thought going into the overtime, I thought we had the momentum, and we certainly created the more chances and shots, and we felt a little hard done by not to get a result there, but just a tremendous effort for sure on that Friday.
Now, your freshman, Matt Arbogast, comes up, scores the first goal of his career in the 88th minute to force overtime in that game. Can you just talk about him coming up in that big spot?
Yeah, Matt did a great job when he was called upon, and I would even go back one step further to Chase Ruskowski, who was the guy who provided the cross. He was coming off the bench and provided the spark that we needed. And Chase just had surgery not 5 weeks ago, and so being able to go a little deeper was huge. And for Matty to come up and hit the strike like he did, and have the audacity as a freshman to drive into the attacking area of UCLA and smack the ball like he did was awesome. So, but we need guys make that play all the time, because when we're playing the UCLAs and others in the conference, there's going to be special plays a lot of times that wins us matches.
Now, after conceding in the 7th minute, you guys were able to hold UCLA scoreless for over 100 minutes if you go all the way through both overtimes. Can you just talk about your back line going into a tough environment against a really good opponent and being able to shut them down for that long?
The back line was sensational. They really were, and they grew in confidence like the attacking players as the game wore on. And I felt that as the game did progress, we were able to kind of play a higher line and take it to them, and maybe pressing them a little bit in their own half of the field. And then our back line was able to play a little bit higher. And UCLA is going to have their chances, and when they did, I thought the guys in the back did just a great job to really minimize the really good chances. And again, Matt Bersano being that pivot guy in the back, keeping everything tight. So, when you're playing these games, you have to have good defense, good goalkeeping, and then you have to, be in the initiative and the attack. And I thought that's what we saw on Friday night.
Now, moving on to Sunday against San Diego State, obviously you guys didn't get the results you would have wanted out of that game. Can you just talk a little about what happened there?
Yeah, I've been reflecting on that for the last 48 hours, and had a good conversation with one of the other coaches in the conference, and he was just congratulating us on getting the 2 results against UCLA, because he goes, that just doesn't happen. But he goes, but it's funny when you play them on a Friday, you almost need 100% plus 25 more percent to play those guys, especially on the road on a Friday. And we in a sense did that twice with the weekends back to back, and it makes for that Sunday game to be maybe more of a challenge, just because you've spent 1.25 of yourself, and a lot of times it does ask a lot for that Sunday piece. And I think that, not to make excuses for us, because I think at the end of the day, everybody's got to play the 2 games like they have to play it. But the lesson that I'm learning is that we have to make sure that we're deep you have to be deep. If you do go toe-to-toe with a UCLA or anybody else in this conference on that Friday, when that Sunday rolls around, it is what it is. And so I think looking back on it, I know the guys are extremely disappointed, but it goes to show you the nature of college soccer. That Sunday UCLA gets a result against Washington, so they're now number 3 in the country, and we're moments away of getting 2 wins against the number 3 team in the country, and legitimate wins, and yet we lose to a team that, in all respect, doesn't have as many wins but are still pretty good. That kind of went by the wayside. So. The good news going forward is that we have 3 legitimate chances to still continue our postseason journey, and so that's the thing that's exciting.
Right. Now, before you move on to those 3 chances, a bit of an odd schedule this week, as you guys have what would ostensibly be a bye week for you guys. How do you treat this week as a coach?
The bye week it's a funny thing sometimes, and the way the conference scheduling is. It can fall in different times, and you get a week of byes for 2 years in a row. So the last 2 years, our bye week happened to be right before the very last game of the season, which is probably the oddest time to have a bye week. This year, it's actually a little more beneficial because we'll have 3 games. The best time to have your bye week is right in the middle. After the first 5 games, then you have a bye week, then you have your second 5 games. And so I think the Bay Area teams have that for the next 2 years. So, for us this year, it's certainly to replenish, but it's to compete because the guys know what's on the line. It's very clear what we need to do, and I want to see the guys want to see them raise the level because, in a sense, this is our playoff.
Now, MLF's playoffs starting up this week. Ryan Johnson, Robbie Finley, Danny Mwanga all will be competing. What does it mean for the Oregon State program to have these alumni, competing at the highest level in the United States?
It's awesome. It's awesome that we have, former Beavers that have developed their game here and their craft play at that level. And it was really neat to see Robbie in 2009 win an MLS Cup with RSL, and see the guys move on and watch them over the course of their careers. It's been just awesome. And anytime they have chances to go in the playoffs, and win an MLS ring, that's a big deal. And so with all these guys, we're always rooting for them. We just are, and I know it's a thrill for them. And you work so hard early on and during the stretches of a season to get the second season, and so that's really no different than what we do here. And so we're extremely proud of him, and hopefully at the end of the day we get some Beavers in the final.